Hey everybody, hope you're doing all right on this Tuesday evening. It's not been too bad today. In actual fact, our practice was closed this afternoon for our practice learning time, where actually I had the opportunity to engage in some really useful learning stuff in terms of non-specific cancer diagnosis and contraception use, which I definitely need an update on that, particularly emergency contraception and when and where to use. Nice case examples. Thank you to our CCG for providing the teaching, or delivered by home, which meant I can come early, which is why I'm broadcasting from home and not from work today. And we've got an interesting episode for you because in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you a piece of kit that I've just been sent by a company called Redmore Health, who are now the provider of this piece of tech for basically the UK area. And what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the doctor's trusted piece of equipment that's kind of got a tech interface and upgrade. Are we talking about stethoscope 2.0? Sort of, yeah. We're talking about the Eko Core stethoscope. So some of you may have seen and heard about this, in particular over the pandemic that we've had. There's been lots of talk about how we can use tech more effectively in primary care. And this has definitely been one of the things that several people have tried using to try and promote better kind of care, as well as enable safer care in some ways. So in this episode, I'm going to unbox what I've been sent. I'm going to do a proper review later down the line, and we've got some talks planned with some clinicians that have already been using this for a while. But I wanted to show you basically what you get in the kit because it actually looks pretty awesome, if I'm being honest. So shall we have a look at the box? Well, this is what I got sent yesterday. So this is called the Eko Core. Fairly large box, as you can see, almost as big as my head. And if you look at the side, core along there, on the other side, core, and some stuff about digital and analog stethoscope, uses an app and something else I can't remember. I can't read. Active noise cancellation, that was it. And it's got some nice little spot tech in terms of the shadowing. So I actually thought this was a blemish, but not so much. And it's got some weight to it, if I'm being honest, which surprised me a little bit. But it's definitely a nice kind of box, very Apple-esque kind of feel, should we say. Yeah, many of you eGP learners know I'm not the biggest fan of Apple in the world. I think they do some awesome stuff. I just think they're massively overpriced. Is that going to be the case for this? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look inside, shall we? So I've already taken the plastic off just because I didn't think you guys wanted to see me with a pair of scissors. And this is what we're left with. Ooh. So I don't know if you can quite see it, but Eko embossed there. And Eko there. So let's have a look. Pop it down. Oh no, it goes this way. So up and over. Ooh, now that's kind of cool. Ta-da! Okay, so this is the Eko Core stethoscope. We've got this nice little piece of black stuff here. So let's have a look at that first, shall we? I'm assuming this is things like the warranty, instructions, and there you go. Quick start guide. Very simple. Nice packaging. Very simple instructions. So on a folded piece of paper with various different things, we'll come back to that. You get a charge cable, and this is micro USB, so not USB-C, and the micro USB, which many people have for their old phones. We've got an extra diaphragm here, bell, sorry, not diaphragm, and some extra tips. We've got small and large for the stethoscope, and then for the main event, we've got a stethoscope. So the first thing you can obviously see is that it kind of looks like a stethoscope. So standard kind of stethoscope that we've with earpieces, the standard Y formation into the tube, and then you've got the diaphragm and the bell at the end. So it kind of looks standard, apart from this kind of obvious little thing here. So it's about 6 centimeters and 2.5 centimeters wide. It's got a big chunky button at the top, which is the on and off button. There we go. And you can now see it's flashing. So it's now on. And if you push it through there, it goes off as a result of that. And it's got Eko written on it. It's got some, I'm going to zoom in, plus minus buttons there for you that you can see, as well as a charging port just here. And yeah, so these are buttons you can press and do various things with. And you're probably wondering, what am I talking about? So, in fact, I'm going to sneeze. Social distancing, nobody's here, don't worry about it. I don't have coronavirus. I do, however, have hay fever. But effectively, this part is what enables this piece of kit to do what it does. Effectively, is enhance the audio that you receive from the head end of the stethoscope. And it does that via various mechanisms. So it does work without this being on. But if you switch it on, it's meant to create noise cancellation. So just like what you would have in your headphones. So those of you that have used noise cancelling headphones will know the impact that can have. And the additional thing is this allows it to make the sound digital, which therefore means that you can send it through a Bluetooth receiver to various devices, like, for example, your computer, if you've got a Bluetooth adapter in it, your laptop, your tablet, or your phone. And then obviously through that, you can do a variety of different things. I've not used this particular one before. I've used a much older version. I think the first kind of version. This definitely has a difference. So the first version I remember had a blue flashing light that was more like a dot rather than this one, which, as you can see, is a little bar that flashes on and off and stuff. So that's a nice little change, actually. It's a lot more obvious. I'm assuming it needs charging. I don't know. I've not had a look at the instructions yet. Probably should do that. But the reason why I wanted to open it is A, to show you what's in the box, because there's not much else there apart from those kind of pieces of kit. I thought I'd give it a quick try as well. So let's have a listen, shall we? So stethoscope in, and wow, that is quite sensitive actually. Not so much because I've not turned it, so let's turn it. Ooh, very good. And let's switch it on now and see how that sounds. Oh, that is some serious enhancement. I've got it the other way around. Okay, that's quite loud. Okay, so there's a definite audio difference when you switch it on compared to when it's off. So when it's off, I can hear like a dull sound with me talking, and when I rub against it, it's fairly flat, if I'm being honest. When I switch it on, so I can't hear myself as much when I'm talking, but that sound is significantly better. So shall we try this on the heart? I'm not going to strip off, don't worry. But I am going to place it just over. My hand is meant. Ow. Okay, that was that. My hand is meant to be the heart sounds. Okay. So compared to when it's on and compared to when it's off, there is a significant difference in the audio. I mean, that my hearing's okay. It's not the greatest, I'll be honest. I'm definitely not the type of person that can pick out, audiophile type sounds, listening to music and that kind of thing. However, I'd say it's probably average, but there's a definite noticeable difference between when the Bluetooth device is on and when it's off. So that's quite nice, actually. It's a little bit weighty at the end, and I guess I would be slightly concerned if I was trying to put this blindly down people's tops. Sometimes when patients are wearing lots of clothing, what I tend to do is try and slip the stethoscope head down and navigate it rather than having to get them to strip down completely, because that takes considerable more time. I think this would be harder to do, but it'd be interesting to see whether the noise cancelling element can compensate for doing it over clothing. I don't know. And I know there's going to be a lot of differing opinions on whether that's an appropriate thing to do. So why don't you tell me what you think? Is that an appropriate thing to do, particularly when you've got an enhanced audio sound through a device like this? Obviously, the other benefit is this allows you to transmit sound digitally. So you can either use that through a Bluetooth device, like on a speaker. And that's one use I've done previously with these kind of devices. And that allows you to share that sound with the patients, for example. So you can say to them, this is what I can hear. Alternately, it allows you to therefore also refer the patient a lot quicker because you've got the kind of audio sounds that you may want the specialist to hear with. It's things like murmurs, abnormal chest sounds, that kind of stuff. It's useful as a teaching as well as a referral tool. More recently, the reason a lot of people have been using these is this allows you, the patient, to use the device and transmit the sound to you, the clinician, through a device that's in a separate room. And clearly, from a COVID perspective, particularly during the height of the pandemic, many people found this a really effective way of trying to provide care that's safe in the kind of COVID context. Additionally, another area I think we're going to see massive use of this is in care home delivery. So in terms of providing remote care home works, this allows you, again, to have somebody else place the device on a patient's chest, and you can direct them where to do it through a video consultation, for example. And then as a result of that, they can then transmit the sound to you, the clinician, who may be a couple of miles down the road, or maybe 10 miles down the road, or potentially even 100 miles away, because it's all going through digitally. And I must admit, that sounded pretty cool. I do like the fact that it's got an adult and a pediatric head. The previous device I've also used is the Littman 3200, which is an electronic stethoscope, which does enhance the sound quite nicely. But the problem with that one is that it was one of those types of stethoscopes where the difference in terms of bell and diaphragm pressure was based on pressure that you apply. And I've never been a fan of those. I know some people prefer that style because you don't have to split the head to use it. But personally, I do much rather prefer having separate heads and not having to worry about how much pressure I'm applying when I'm listening to a patient to understand what I'm hearing and stuff. So that's the unboxing of this device. I'm going to do a proper review once I've had a chance to go through this particular version in a lot more detail. I would like to thank Redmore Health for sending me this device. I'll make it quite clear. They have sent this to me for free, and they have been, I'm happy to be quite honest about that, but they haven't said to me that, do a review. Actually, they just kind of said, would you like one? We'd like to know what you think about it. So yeah, I said I'd happily do this for them. They are the local provider in terms of the country for this kind of device. You can buy it directly from Eko's website. Interesting that I can't quite work out which one's actually cheaper. I do think Redmore is going to be slightly more cost effective, because one of the things that the buying it directly from America issues you have is that you may have to pay for customs and excise, which isn't quite clear. And if you're having to do that, then it racks up the cost quite significantly. The going rate for this, £209, I think it is, for this particular device, which is both stethoscope and Bluetooth device. You can buy the device on its own and then use that to attach into your stethoscope, and that comes about £200. And there is actually a newer version of this called the Duo, which is more like a smartphone at the end, and that allows you to also have an ECG, 2-lead ECG stream through using the device as well. So it'd be interesting to see how different an experience that one is as well, because that's not your kind of standard stethoscope design as well. So for clinicians, in terms of how effective they find using that. One thing I have noticed is a lot shorter than my stethoscope, I think. No, pretty much the same length. So my stethoscope is about the length of my arm. I know because I've tried it and stuff. This one is probably a little bit, well, pretty much the same, but it does feel different. I think this portion is a little bit longer, and the length is therefore a little bit shorter. But anyway, this is the Eko Core. As I said, I'm doing a proper review in due course once I've had a chance to use this with patients and see the experience with them, their reactions, and my perspective as well with that. If you have one of these devices, why don't you let me know what you think about it? Have you been using it? Have you found it useful? Have you found it effective? I'd be keen to know what you think, and mention that in the comments down below. And I will definitely get back to you in terms of what I think about this particular device. Just a couple of quick things before we sign off. So just to let you all know, this week's a fairly busy one for eGPlearning. We've got loads of stuff planned for you. So tomorrow, one thing, there is the Transformation in Technology COVID webinar that's happening. I'll put the links for that in the show notes so you can join into that if you want to. If you are part of the System 1 Facebook user group, at 12 o'clock, we've got a demonstration of the Hopin platform that we're using for our System 1 Facebook user group conference, which if you want to join, please feel free to do so. We're having some really great uptake of this, and the links down below in terms of the link to sign up and stuff and things. And then on Thursday, double whammy for you. So number one is a showcase of one of the tools that I love to use and how you can use it as a network and federation. Some of my eGPlearners will probably know what tool that is, but I'm going to leave you in suspense if you're not sure. So definitely check through on Thursday. And in addition, as a kind of celebratory thing, we've created something hopefully that you'll find enjoyable, interesting, and fun as well, was coming out on Thursday for our eGP learners. And if you're part of the mailing list and stuff, you're going to get this automatically. But I hope you all find it useful, interesting. The video creating for this has been an absolute nightmare, but it was good fun in some ways as well to create. So I hope you do enjoy it. It's going to be a really interesting episode to see what you all think about my latest creation, shall we say. I'll leave it there. We've got the podcast on Saturday with Andy live, and we're going to be covering various topics from there. And lastly, 29th, definitely make sure you sign up for the Digital First Primary Care, Digital First Providers Guide that we've got, which is now, interestingly, a showcase of 6 different providers of digital primary care as we talk about what they are doing with Dr. Minal Bakai of NHS England. And that's going to be Accurix, Ask My GP, eConsult, Engage Consultation, Clinic, and System One. So, yeah, lots of interesting stuff that's going to be coming your way from the eGPlearning team. I hope you're all great. Hope you're all having a good day. I'm going to sign off now. Got plenty to do and definitely want to see what the stethoscope goes like. So just before we finish off, here again is the Eko Core Bluetooth stethoscope. Here's the absolutely stunning box that it came in. Yeah. And as always, eGPlearners, if you've got any comments or questions, I'm more than happy to try and answer them. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, eGPlearning is here to help save you and your patients time by taking hands in your primary care and learning. I'll catch you